What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Watching Paint Dry here on Another Letdown. My name is Zach from Another Letdown Media, and this is the show where we hang out at the end of a long week after we should have thought about going to bed on a Saturday night and work through the ridiculous backlog of miniatures we've accumulated that are currently leering at us from our desktops and display cabinets and game boxes that need painting. There's an old adage that says if a miniatures painter ever runs out of projects to paint, he or she will die. So we're just trying to stave off death for as long as we possibly can. And joining me on the line, as always, our resident monkey handler, my perennial painting partner, it's Broody Gambit. Mike, how's it going?
It's going great. Glad to finally be painting again.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Health concerns and work concerns and other various and sundry obligations have precluded us from going live, although both of us have made a little bit of progress off the air. I've just done some idle touch-ups on some bigger models that have been quite genuinely sitting on my desktop for most of a decade at this point. And you've done some various Shatterpointy work of one kind or another. But it's nice, it's nice to get back here to the table and actually get the cameras rolling again and continue to document that ever-present process of trying to keep ahead of the miniatures release schedule, which is, physically impossible, let's be real here. So let's not waste any more time. As with all the shows that we host here on the channel, we believe in civil rights for absolutely everyone and being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. Let's paint. Let's get back to it. Here's the button. There we go. All right. So yeah, I'm continuing. I'm going to finish up these blunderbussmen today. Hopefully, I'll finish up these hobgoblin jerk wads that I've got up here as well. If I do have time, I've got their bolt thrower that goes with it. At least I can get that started. But I've also got some repair projects to do. I've got this old hammer dark elf thing that, like, the sculpt of the horse was so bad that it's just got a giant seam running through the middle, so I might try to green stuff that back together. But I would prefer to do that off camera. If there's time, I'll do it, but whatever. You've got a bunch of Jedi scum.
Yep.
I was feeling a little punchy with the overlays.
66.
Yeah. I was feeling a little punchy with the overlays today, so I decided to take it out on your Jedi. So basically, the only things left to do on these Chaos Dwarfs is a little bit of touch-up on the metallic bits and the basing. So I actually think I'm going to start with the first coat of base stuff. Just kind of get that out of the way. Let that dry over the course of the next however long. So I don't know why I'm shaking this because it's like mud. It's Sterling Battlemire GW texture paint. Gotta love it. Normally I'd use something like if it hadn't been for the vast majority of my Chaos Dwarfs that I already own having this exact base technique, I'd probably use something out of the Green Stuff World line to achieve what I'm looking for here, but got to keep up appearances, got to make them look uniform. So Battlemire returns, and simply let's spread onto the base with a little putty knife. Leaving gaps for lava flow. Problems I do face with this is I am using very small bases, so there is a logic behind or for putting the bases together first, but I am nothing if not a rebel. Pun very much intended, considering making Star Wars.
What was that? Camera failed to load.
Oh, yeah. This logic thing sounds icky, says RPD. Well, you are absolutely correct, my friend. How's it going, dude? Rudy has disappeared temporarily. He'll be back.
You can still hear me, right?
I can still hear you.
What did I do? No, I don't want to share files. Documents view.
See you. See your camera.
No, I don't want to do that. Do the mics. There we go. Okay, perfect. I'm back.
Yes.
Or at least
yes,
the camera is.
Yeah, and it seems clear enough. Every once in a while, these IPEVO cameras do lose connection. They're a little funky that way. But they are nice cameras. In general, we've had big success with them. Not a sponsor, but IPEVO, let's talk. Speaking of things that are not a sponsor, got the Pomelo Pink Lemonade from GT's Kombucha. Absolutely love it. Had to go out of my way to get it today. RPD says, I'm alright. The ongoing saga of my ear issues is finally in. Oh, good. That is good. Boy, 2025 has just been the year of strange health issues for so many people. You've heard many of my woes and maladies. RPD. Selfishly, I'm glad I'm not alone there. But did you see, and this is an absolutely loaded question because you're the one that sent it to me, so of course you saw it, the teaser trailer for it's not strictly Fantasy Flight Arkham game, but it's might as well be. It's like the Sunken City.
Oh, Sinking City, yeah.
Sinking City, yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah. I gotta play number 1, but
you should definitely play number 1. It's so good.
We really loved Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened. That game was phenomenal, and obviously it is maybe the most Zack game ever created. But yeah, so I definitely want to check those out. Those look fantastic. So coming soon to a Zack Sucks at Games near you. But that won't be for a while because we got to do Indiana Jones. We got Space Marine 2 on the docket. Mandari has challenged me to do Baldur's Gate 3. I want to, but that's a long commitment.
Yeah.
So time will tell on that one. Tons of other indie Metroidvanias that are bopping around in my Steam library. I've got, we've obviously got Switch 2 coming, so that's going to come with its own fair share of things that I'm going to want to stream. Although I do find myself, like, old school Nintendo, I don't mind streaming, but the newer stuff, I tend to prefer offline. Which is sort of an interesting development, I guess. I'm back on Mario Odyssey right now. And,
you were telling me that yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad to be back to it. Yeah. I remember that RPD. But I'm playing it off for comedic effect.
Oh. Don't need all that.
What's that?
When I try to break open. So Shakti has like these like banner slash flowy little dressy bits.
Yeah.
And I thought what would look cool is if I used bronze, like a metallic, and I was gonna throw a red wash over it to maybe hopefully the red soaking in all the recesses like underneath all of the fine calligraphy, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And hopefully give it a sort of that sort of embroidered gilded look.
Yeah, sure.
I will see how that turns out with a wash.
Yeah, so I mean that's why I'm really glad I picked up these GSW metallics. This like Caesar red would do a really good job with that, and then I can just go around it with the copper or the bronze. But sometimes you just gotta think outside the box a little. RPD, talk to me about WrestleQuest. And while you do, I have to say, I really hope there's a Guacamelee 3. Those games were terrific. Really, really enjoyed them. I did not do everything in Guacamelee 2. Not that I didn't want to, it just, like, certain bits were just like, this is not streamable. I can't be entertaining and do this at the same time. So I just I rushed for the ending on that one a little bit. But that just means that I can play it off camera and enjoy it on my own time to sort of 100% at some point. Alright. Oh, shoot. Not ready to put that away. Still have these foolish hobgoblins to do. One thing they have in common with the actual Chaos Dwarfs is their bases. I've been playing... I finally get to play board games again.
That's fun. What are you playing?
Blood Bowl Team Manager this week.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
It's so much fun. The one thing I can't figure out is when you sprint, and you now have extra cards in your hand, do you still get to play those out on your turn, or are you limited to 6 actions?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. The rules weren't clear about that. So we've been playing you just play your hand out because it's more fun. But I absolutely trounced my students the other day at it. And that's how I'm playing games again. It's board game days.
As much as I'm not like I would never play like in an actual Blood Bowl game. The orcs, I love playing them in Team Manager.
Oh, they're so fun.
They're like constantly cheating, so you always have to like take that risk with the getting called on penalties and other stuff like that.
Yeah, the Chaos Dwarfs are very the same.
Yeah, just a fun way to play.
I mean, obviously, as I sit here, painting Chaos Dwarfs, I'm a blatant parody of myself. Of course, I'm going to choose Chaos Dwarfs every time, if given the opportunity. One of my students picked Nurgle, and he was just plaguing like everywhere. It's a turn-based RPG about wrestling where you play as a guy wanting to become Macho Man Randy Savage, notable for several legends of the wrestling. I'll have to check it out, RPD. I'm not much for turn-based RPGs. Chrono Trigger being the sort of exception there. But I'll definitely check it. I'll look into it. Alrighty. Now, while that sets, we'll move on into some edge highlighting. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to patch up the bronze first. Because as you dry brush, things like bronze tend to get a little messed up. color. Brass scorpion. There it is. Oh, golly. Took that a little bit too far and got it everywhere. Much better. Badly wrong. I know you listen to like Alice Cooper in that.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you fall on the band Ghost?
Never heard of them.
Okay. They are a Swedish band. And they are a blatant parody of a, for lack of a better word, satanic cult.
Okay.
But they're very much like an arena rock band.
Mm-hmm.
And they are theatrical in the same way that Alice Cooper is. I think you really dig them. And they've just announced a new era for the band, which RPD and I were talking about on Discord recently. That was a little surprise highlight of my week. I'm making a giant mess here. Hell of weeks and weeks out of practice. One of the things I'm struggling with these Chaos Dwarfs is like my painting skills have improved a lot since I did the majority of the army. And it's not that they're bad, it's just like I'm trying to make these guys match. And I'm using like techniques and colors and stuff and brushes that I didn't have at that point.
It's like the old well, not just Hollywood exclusive, but it's like the real talent of or the real show of like a really good actor is to make you think that they're a bad one.
Yeah.
And it goes for like singers and various other things too, but like being good enough to know how to make yourself sound really bad, but like in a way that's not grating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wasn't that like kind of the fundamental conceit of Ben Stiller's performance in Tropic Thunder? Like he said
almost,
it in a
yeah,
very uncouth way, but like that's pretty much the message he was trying to send, is like if you're trying to emulate something bad, you can't go full bad.
Dang it, my camera failed to load again.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
It's not using it on another.
As for good bad acting, we need RPD, I missed your ghost comment. Yeah, well, I certainly could have done that. RPD, do you remember when Daft Punk hung up their helmets and I was trying to sell people on Twerp?
I don't know why my camera is not registering. Let me shut down real quick. I'll hop back in just a second.
Yep, that's fine. I'll do... that for a moment. Yeah, you know, have you ever watched How I Met Your Mother? In that show, there's, like, Barney does the "Have you met Ted" thing. So people were, like, crying over Daft Punk, and I was like, "Have you met Twerp?" Oh my god, seeing my hand... Whoa, this is kind of cool. Hold on. Oh, my camera's on the giant TV next to me. I'm wondering how hard it would be to paint by television, but I don't want to completely screw up the model. I almost wish it was like right here. I'm going to take note of that for my desk rebuild. I believe TWRP is working on something. I know they've got a tour with NSP coming up. But I want to say that Have Hogan was posting pictures of a writing session or recording session of some kind. I've come to the conclusion that their socials are managed by Have Hogan. It's a completely, like, baseless conclusion, but...
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, you are back. Let's hope that holds.
Yes. I don't know. Something's wrong with like the USB connector or something. I had to like reset a bunch of stuff.
Oh, weird. I've just taken to, like, on general principle, rebooting my computer before every stream. No matter what I'm doing. Sort of clear everything out. It's something I do. I started doing it a long time ago, but I started doing it before I play Elden Ring or before I play Helldivers, anything like that. Just in case. More of a superstition than anything else, but it does seem to help on some level.
This is going to be the tedious part.
What part is that?
All the different blue stripes in her Leku.
Oh, God. So, I told you last night that we could talk about Race League.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother and my cousins race at kind of like, the only way I can describe it is it's like a wish.com ski mountain.
Okay.
It's got exactly one like chairlift and one rope tow in the form of a T-bar.
Mm-hmm.
And you like to drive past it, you're like, there's no way that's a ski mountain. Yep, it is. And so I am sort of their team's unofficial coach. And more than anything, that just means I show up and we hang out for several hours on a Thursday night. Which is very convenient because that's the night that my daughter goes to my parents. And so I, most of the time, have that night off. My cousin Heather and I get to chit-chat about our childhood and, just enjoy some family time. Like we did when we were kids, and same with Tim and Sean. Well, because of everything with my kid and health and stuff, I've been a little absent this year. And so I texted Tim and Sean, I think it was Wednesday, hey, it looks like I'm actually going to be able to make it this week, expecting, oh yeah, cool, we'll see you there. And Tim goes, well, it's gonna be a boring one this week. I'm like, oh no. He's like, yeah, it's the final, and we're racing on the bunny hill. And I was like, excuse me, you're racing on the bunny hill? Why? And he goes, well, the lift's broken. That one chairlift had blown it basically blew its transmission.
Okay.
Which is bad.
Yeah.
So they were indeed now. It's by Tim's definition, of course, racing on the bunny hill is a terrible thing. From my perspective, I'm thinking that is hilarious, and I must go see this. So I get myself up there right on time. We get the usual, let's just say pub trivia style libations going, and we start walking to the rope tow. Well, of course, there's a sign that said no alcohol beyond this point.
Yeah.
So we all just put our various cups and cans and whatever in our pockets and keep walking.
Yep.
Because it's now 7:30 at night. There's no kids around. Whatever. No sooner do we get that, and my brother hefts his skis onto his shoulder. Ski patrol comes up. That better not be a beer in your back pocket. To my cousin. So I proceeded to pour the rest of my PBR into my Yeti. And sit in my passenger seat of my car and watch them race. My brother bit it twice in one run. He blew out on the start line, which was hilarious. And then he yard sailed about halfway down. The problem with racing on ice is, like, you've got no control. But it was a good night. It was great to see my family. Heather and I were saying, not very many people are as close with their cousins as we all are. We do absolutely everything together. We always have. We ski together, we swim together, we bike together, and what we have is super special. It's just nice. Our parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles really fostered a good thing in us growing up. It took us a long time to get there, ourselves, but once we did, we're like, it's just a better way to live,
Yeah. I lived significantly farther away from my cousins.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to see them once a year.
Yeah, right. you know, Kara has some of that in that her cousins are all second cousins, and by and large a lot older. There's three that are her age, but most of them are older and live a little bit further away. So we'll have to, you know, cross that bridge at some point. I guess the difference now, though, is we have things like video call and, you know, the internet. It does help on some level with that. Maybe not ideal. Yeah. I mean, I'm also lucky, RPD. I do have Amanda's kids, my best friend. And, you know, Tegan and Finley have always seen me as Uncle Zach. But they're similarly, you know, they live in, you know, halfway down the country from where we are here. Try this. Tegan actually texted me the other day, and I've completely forgotten to get back to her. I should probably do that. Yikes. This red has had it. Slowly but surely, my Citadel pots are croaking.
Yeah.
And I'm not upset.
I had to work
about
really
it.
hard on this one. I was trying to find a good color for her like skirt dress part,
Yeah.
and could not find a color that I liked that I thought matched the reference art.
Yeah.
Until finally I decided to, like, I looked at some of my Citadel pots and I was like, you know what? Rat skin flesh looks like a really good, like, light tannish brown that really matches that, like what the picture looks like.
Yeah.
So I went and grabbed it, and it was almost a solid chunk of garbage. So I had to add a little bit of water and just like a couple drops and mix it up. And I got it to work, so...
Nice. I mean, I've said this before. I'm down to a couple of Citadel pots that I will continue to replace. Obviously, Melon Oil is just a workhorse.
Yeah, I was about to say the washes and stuff definitely.
Yeah, like I have, you know, TT Combat washes, and I think I have some Green Stuff World ones too, but like, they can't step. They cannot step to what Melon Oil does. Alright, let's see. A little bit of edge highlighting going in here. A couple of different spots. I've been doing a lot of, like, in the time we've been away, I've been doing a lot of, like, just regular drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Just, actually, usually with crayon, because I'm doing it with my daughter. But it's really helped me focus on, like, lighting, like, where light is coming from.
Uh-huh.
So I'm hoping very much that translates back to this. Obviously, I don't like to have miniatures lit in a way that's like omnidirectional. That's always bothered me. I know that's a trend right now, but I want my minis to look good from all angles, not just from one.
Mm-hmm.
I also see a lot of people highlighting all the way to white, and I'm like, I don't like that. Maybe that's just my style, but I don't care for that.
I do not like that much either.
But the other thing I'm finding is like the miniatures painting community tends to be very pleasant. As a general statement. No?
I think it really depends.
Okay. I guess I just don't see people being like, if you don't do it this way, you suck.
No, I don't think there's anything like that. I feel like I don't know what it is, like just the general personality of
Sure.
people,
Okay.
but they like don't or are completely unable to take criticism.
Oh, yes.
It's like if you are actively trying to like, hey, you need to like water down your paints a bit because it's like a bit chalky or something like that, and like some people will jump down your throat like he's just learning, or like he's new, you can't like criticize or give helpful advice or anything like that because like he's just doing him.
Pet Love 83, we are painting, it's actually right down at the bottom here. I am painting some Chaos Dwarfs for the old world, and Mike is painting Star Wars Shatterpoint. Welcome. Hey, Remote Air, how are you? Chocolate bar emoji, I think that's what that is. I can't quite tell. Yeah.
Point in order. I think I got this one a little overdone. Like I think I got a little too thick on the paint up here on her head.
Maybe she's just got a big brain.
No, they're like really nicely well done lines to delineate like the striations. Like they're really good about that. On these Atomic Mass minis.
Yes. I forgot Shatterpoint is AMG.
But I kind of put a little bit like I went a little too heavy on the coat for the
gotcha.
For the white that I was using, and it made it a little difficult to delineate where some of the stripes should be and where they should end.
Remote Air is eating some chocolate. What sort of chocolate are you consuming? We were just talking about chocolate, weren't we, RPD? A lot of shadowing on Mike's camera. Yeah, that's true. It's dark. There's a lot of shadows from your camera. That's largely a side effect of I'm painting in a studio with proper lighting and stuff, and he's just painting in his painting room.
Yeah, I've just got two desk lamps as my light sources.
Yeah. Not a whole lot we're going to be able to do about that one. But thank you for the feedback.
So I got the investigator pack for the Drowned City for Arkham.
That is very exciting. Tell me more.
So you've got I don't know how many new characters versus old characters. Gloria Goldberg is in it. She's the Mystic.
Oh, finally.
So they finally actually released her. Then you have Agatha Crane is she is also a Mystic but also a Seeker.
Weird.
She came with 2 different investigator cards that have different deck building restrictions and stuff, and you choose whether you want to be the Mystic or the Seeker version.
Okay, I'm liking that already.
And then Michael McGlenn. We've talked about that before. He's the Rogue. And I forget the name of the fighter, but I'm pretty sure she is completely new. Or the Guardian, I should say. She is some like one-armed sailor of some kind.
I'm just gonna pause you for a second, Broody. Yeah, RPD claims that I am some sort of Lovecraftian cultist because I can accurately pronounce the name or the sauce name Worcestershire.
Mm-hmm.
That's in response to chat.
Oh no! Yeah. I think I concur. If you can say that, you're fine. I was gonna say several years ago, from the Letters Page Discord, Xander bequeathed me a title of wizard because I can fold a fitted sheet.
Oh God, I hate you.
It's kind of like the same thing,
Oh,
or
very
at least
much so, yeah.
somewhat similar. But yeah, Michael McGlenn is the Rogue, and I'm super excited. I've already built a deck for him for my next campaign.
Yeah, I think you posted that to our private chat, right?
I don't think so.
I posted something. Maybe I'm just insane.
That's good. And then you have like a lawyer like George Lazenby. No, that's James Bond.
Wait, I was gonna say, wait a minute, what?
It's George something or other. I forget. But he's a lawyer, and so he has a sailboat. He's the survivor. And like the normal Seeker is like a poet of some kind, but I don't remember his name either.
Gotcha.
But the cards look cool. There's not a lot of like level 0 cards, but there's a whole bunch of upgrade cards.
Nice. We've needed an influx of good upgrades.
Yes, so a lot of level 0 cards throughout the game that haven't had upgrades got upgrades in this one. Like there's an upgrade for Alice Luxley.
What?
Yeah. So she has the same, when you discover a clue, you do a damage to an enemy. But I think she upgrades to just 2 XP, and it's the same thing, but it adds that your first investigation of the round doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity.
Oh, that's sick.
So you don't have to like kind of jank around some way to get an action to discover a clue to trigger her or something like that. You can just investigate if you need to and get your clue that way.
Oh, that makes me very, very happy.
And that opens up options if you're like facing a like if you have multiple enemies, you can kill one and evidence to get a clue and hit damage on the other one and investigate to do other things.
I love it.
It gives you lots of options.
Yeah.
Working a hunch, they have now an upgraded version. So instead of just 2 to discover a clue, it's 2 to discover a clue at any location.
Oh, wow. Joe Diamond just got busted.
I know, seriously. Yeah, a lot of these cards I was thinking, man, this would have been great in Joe Diamond.
I think I'm finally going to get to play a quick couple games of Arkham with Alex and Sammy coming up in April.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. We've been jonesing for a while. We're doing... Oh, whoa. April's my birth month, so...
Yeah.
We're going to do... Not to be confused with birth month TM. That's after birth month, but... I believe we are going to do Samurai Night, which was a recommendation that Adam's brother Paul suggested. We are going to... I mean, we'll play Arkham during the day, but in the evening, we are going to get a big old platter of sushi, a big old bottle of sake, and watch Akira Kurosawa movies until we fall asleep.
Nice.
Birth month CR.
There were some other fun little upgrades, like for survivors, Glimmer of Hope. That was it was a myriad card from Dream Eaters.
Yep.
It was an event that you could only play from the discard pile, but it had a wild icon. So the trick was you commit it for the wild, and when it's in your discard pile, the event action that it can do is return all copies of Glimmer of Hope to your hand.
Okay.
So you commit it, and then it gets in your discard pile, and when you have all three in your discard pile, you just spend a resource and get all three back into your hand.
Dang.
And then you can recommit them to stuff and do what you will with that.
That's awesome.
The Survivor card Last Chance got an upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
Which originally was 4 wild that loses 1 for each card in your hand. So if it's like the last card in your hand, it's really good to commit to a skill test. Yeah. Now it has 6 instead of 4.
Oh, dang.
And if you succeed, you also draw 2 cards.
Love those words.
Mm-hmm. The events that you play from the discard pile for red as well got upgrades.
It's been... I'm trying to remember.
So it's like winging it and improvised weapon.
Yeah.
That are just like 1 cost that normally it's -1 fighter, -1 shroud or something like that.
Yeah.
Now it's -2 essentially.
Nice. That's good. One of the things that's kind of bugged me is I got stiffed out of my Survivor deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it was my turn to play Survivor, we got killed in a side mission. And it was like really early in the campaign, so I really didn't get to do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that I can come around on Survivor and play that one again.
I was also very intrigued that they've brought back some interesting mechanics that I'm looking like that I enjoyed but haven't gotten a chance to really delve into.
Mm-hmm.
So in particular, the Seeker kind of archetype that's succeed by X.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's you have to, if you succeed by 2, you do something. If you succeed by 1, you do something else.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of the cards where when you would succeed, you can succeed by 1 more or 1 less.
Yeah.
And lots of cards that are if you succeed by 1, 2, 3, or 4,
yeah,
or something like that. Like they do added benefits.
Come on. Zach's an otherworldly being. Broody setting up the Monkey Uprising, and a Shetty benefactor with an inscrutable agenda of their own. But a clear affinity for influencing corrupting people towards an inscrutable agenda. Well, that's just the short of it, RPD. You've forgotten the fact that Jacqueline is a cult leader, Alex is a baboon, Greg is a Bonzi buddy, Jamali's a nefarious also an inscrutable benefactor, with a slightly more direct influence, and definitely an agenda of his own. Adam is Adam. And that's all you need to know ever about him. We got all kinds of characters here on ALD Media. Yeah, yes, you're right. Car ownership.
What did I use? That's not the right one. That's way too dark.
Fixing a little bit of
I didn't use a pot.
some silver that got messed up somewhere along the line. These some dry brushing shenanigans. It's exactly why I tend not to do too much dry brushing. So, Daredevil Born Again has begun.
Yeah. Are they still doing their like weekly releases on Disney Plus?
They are, and in this
another-
case, I'm not upset about it.
They're changing it with Andor, where they're doing like groups of 3.
Yeah,
Because like the first season was kind of really a there were like 4 arcs,
right. Yes,
and it seems like they're just leaning into that like sort of arc and releasing them as the arcs, not just as individual episodes.
I like that. When does Andor start again?
April 25th.
Okay, so it's right after Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's good. No, because that just seems on brand for you, RPD. And I thought it was clever. Usually when someone does something clever like that, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like I'm not gonna trash on them for it because that's just a cool idea, a neat idea. Anyway. Oh yeah, I gotta do these horns. I don't want to do that. Guess I can try it this way. I did some really good horns on someone a while back, and I can't remember who it was or what I did.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sure you would, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm just too nice, I guess, RPD. But yeah, Daredevil Born Again, without spoiling anything, has successfully traumatized the entire audience in the first 6 minutes of the show.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And I look forward to whatever's coming next. We've yet to see Frank Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And we have yet to see Muse. So, outside of some light teasing. There were a couple of Easter eggs that have given my buddy John an inordinate amount of hope that I am not currently subscribed to. Not that I think John is wrong in any way, I've just been burned before.
Yeah.
Just facing, is that where I'm at? I guess so. Don't have to color match this. Dang it. Oh boy. Well, maybe I can make that work. Hold on. I did get a free trial of Paramount Plus.
That's cool.
Used it to watch iCarly. Which, like, they did a really good. Like, I trash on reboots and things like that a lot. Maybe more than I ought to, because that one was really good. There was at least one central character who did not return for the reboot.
Okay.
And what they did is they took her character and like evenly distributed the key aspects amongst other key players and used that to flesh out like some really unique new people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. And from my perspective, it's tremendously respectful to the original cast. The original cast member who chose not to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just saying, oh, this new character is just this character. No, they're new people. They bring a lot of the same energy, but they're definitely distinctly different. I've been sort of putting off doing these lava bases for a while. I could have done this, off camera. Because it's a notorious pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
The end result is really cool, but doing them is tedious. It's so much dry brushing. / just generally layering. But yeah, Born Again is extremely good. Very strong recommend. Cannot wait for Andor. That's going to be awesome. Or at least I hope it is.
Yeah. Doing a big no-no here.
Oh?
I'm actually using Nuln Oil over white, which I hate doing.
Yeah, I hate doing that, but it does. There are times when it is called for. I did it with Kingpin, actually. But I did it in a very, very, very controlled way.
Mm-hmm.
I used a tiny brush by comparison to what I normally use for inking. And just really keep it tight.
So I'm trying to use enough to get it to fall into the little grooves there between the white and the blue.
Mm-hmm.
But not so much that it makes it too black or gray.
Sure.
Not to mention, she does have a bit of jewelry and stuff, so
Yeah.
getting it around there is also helpful.
Right.
So doubling back to Arkham,
Yeah.
while I enjoy the game design, I don't know who's in charge of quality control over at FFG, but they should be fired.
Okay, you're gonna have to
Well-
elaborate on that one.
I was gonna say quality control is probably not the right word, but whoever approved all of the art, like
Oh god,
for
it's
the
just gone
most part, the art,
downhill.
yeah, it's like most of the art on these new cards are just garbage. The humans are just bizarrely proportioned or in like they're weird poses that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like one of the cards has it's like intimidation or something like that, where there's a character and he has brass knuckles on, but like brass knuckles are straight,
Yeah.
and this one like puts his hand at like this weird 45-degree angle because like the knuckles are like bent over his knuckles.
Weird.
Yeah, and just the who's ever letting all of these just pop culture references get through, it just ruins immersion. And one of the cards is literally the Indiana Jones with the idol in the sandbag. There's literally a flavor text quote that is just straight up taken from Mandalorian.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is ridiculously stupid, and I am really hating whoever thought that this is a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not alright with that. Sammy and I have complained about Roland Banks' artwork changes a lot over the years, both for second edition and the card game. But yeah, there's some trashy looking art. in Arkham right
Yeah, it's just so bad. Nope, that's the one I want.
now. Go on.
I was trying to figure out Kiadi Mundi's like really light undershirt stuff,
Oh, sure.
and so I was trying to find something that was off-white but not in like enough in a like a brownish yellow, and so like I've got mummy robes
Yeah.
because like I was looking at brain matter, but I feel like that's too yellow and not brown enough, and skeleton bone wasn't terrible. I just think it was a little bit more concentrated,
Sure. Saturated.
too saturated with the color.
Yeah. My students and I were exploring saturation levels with a poster project they were working on the other day. He was doing a like, you know, that sort of internet game, like, what if you could make a concert lineup, what would it be? And he decided he wanted to do a punk rock show, and he wanted to make a punk rock style music poster. And I said, okay, your colors right now, like, if you look at punk rock posters, your reds, your greens. No, you're really just your reds. Your reds are saturated. Pretty much everything else is desaturated. And he turned down the saturation on some of his colors. He's like, yeah, no, that's better. All right. Next.
Yeah, this is a good color. this mummy robe. Once I get a little bit of wash in here and then highlight back, I think it'll turn out really good.
Yeah.
There goes the camera again.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Chat, that's sound like.
Lasted longer that time, though. My students are so funny. When I get to school on Monday, they always look at my fingernails to see if I've been painting. Because I always use my fingernail to blot off some of the paint, especially when I'm doing sort of sloppy stuff like this. Oh. Mike seems to have disappeared momentarily. So I'll cut back to the full screen here. Yeah, he's going to do a full reboot. He'll be right back. But everything's fine. Everything will be fine, I promise. Ow. As long as I don't poke myself in the eye, that's usually detrimental to painting, harmful, if you will. Two more dwarfs, three more goblins. For this color. Move on to the next one. And the next one. And the next one. But every time we go over it, it gets slightly less. Slightly quicker. This is the internal monologue that goes through my head every time I do lava bases. In addition to asking myself, why did I choose to do this in the first place? Oh, Brody's back.
Yes.
Let's hope the camera seems to have fixed itself.
Maybe. I don't know why it's giving me fits now.
on down, goblins.
So I also got the new Marvel Champions set today.
Is that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one?
Mm-hmm. And it's really good. We
I was
started
gonna say,
playing the campaign,
Yeah.
and it's awesome.
Yeah, I've looked at a few of the cards from it. It looks really good. It's been a minute since you and Shmuley and I have played that.
It has been a minute. It's probably been a few hours.
I mean, yeah. Well, you're not wrong.
But what's really neat about the campaign mode, so basic story is it's a Winter Soldier. Shield has the executive directors of Shield have been infiltrated by a mole, and you've got to figure out which one's who the mole is.
Sure.
So you are given 3 options, like the chief tactical officer, the chief whatever, 3 different chief something or others.
Sure.
And then you are given 3, like essentially you're trying to track down who had the means, motives, and opportunity to betray Shield. So you are given 3 sets of means, 3 sets of motives, and 3 sets of opportunities. And you randomly shuffle and you pull one of each.
Sure.
And put it in a secret envelope.
So it's Clue.
Yes.
Okay.
And as you go through the campaign, you can get side schemes and interact. Like if you complete the mission and have all the secrets off by doing certain actions and stuff, you can look at cards in the second envelope, which is the stuff that you didn't pull apart, and so you can start process of elimination, try and figure out which, due to which combination is which person is the traitor. And in the final scenario, we only did the first one obviously, but in the final scenario they told you that you're going to have to get to a point where you have to make an accusation, and if you're wrong it changes how that scenario gets played and makes it much more difficult.
Okay, I really like that. That's neat. Being dumb. I'm being dumb.
Nick I was playing Nick Fury.
Cool.
And he is baller. He comes pre-built Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very, half of his deck is the same as Black Widow's essentially.
Yeah.
A lot of those preparations, you play it, it stays in play. When something triggers, you counteract it or do something with it.
Yeah.
But one of the neat things is he starts with his stealth suit in play. I'm not sure if you read or saw this from the preview
I've
or
seen
whatnot.
A lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
but the viewers haven't necessarily.
Yeah, so the stealth suit, when it's on its stealth side versus its assault side, whenever a enemy would attack you, they scheme instead, and you remove or take one of the threat that would be placed on the scheme and put it on the stealth suit. You can build stuff up, and lots of his cards trigger off of discarding threat off of your stealth suit.
Cool.
And then when you attack, you switch to your assault suit. So you change the form, and then you can spend threat off of it to deal extra damage, up to 3.
Nice.
So you spend some time scheming or thwarting and building threat on your suit, and then you turn around and just hit really hard.
I like that.
I flipped it over once.
Huh.
I was hardcore scheming or thwarting the entire game, because we really needed it.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually get to do a lot of offensive stuff.
Yeah.
At least in terms of attacking the villains, but I saved us from losing many, many times.
That's good.
One turn, the villain went from 20 threat out of the 40 that would have gone to lose the game because it's only one scheme,
Yep.
and had gotten like 10 or so, and so it was up to about 30 through the villain phase. And then I ended up getting that down to about 15
Wow.
through all of my actions, maybe lower, maybe closer to 10.
That is genuinely quite impressive.
And then the next villain phase, she got it back up to the 30s.
Oh my god.
So I was like, well, I'm glad I'm really cooking on this threat removal, because we desperately need it.
Yeah.
I
like that they're playing with the threat thing.
Yeah. One of the really important ones, he has one new preparation card called Investigation. So when players are dealt out their encounter cards, you can look at all of them plus the top one on the encounter deck, and then you place them however you want. Or like,
oh, that's
not place them, it's swap them around. So
sure.
If you were dealt 2, I still have to give you 2. I can't
right.
like give all to like one player or something like that.
Yeah.
But when I know one of the players can cancel a treachery, it's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and give you the Shadows of the Past, so you can just cancel that.
Yeah.
Or various things like that to control how the encounter deck comes out.
Right.
And then what was really silly about it was there was a side scheme called Superhuman Abduction.
Oh god.
Where if a ally gets removed from play, you tuck it underneath the side scheme.
Yeah.
And you add threat equal to their cost to the side scheme. And you get an acceleration token every time you do that. But when you defeat the side scheme, you put the character back into play.
Oh, okay.
Like for free.
Yeah.
So
it's not
what I
completely trashing on you.
What?
So it's not just completely trashing on you.
Yeah. So what I found out was with that investigation card, if I needed it again, which was I liked having it pretty much every time that I possibly had a chance, Agent Coulson, when he comes into play, not when you play him, but when he enters play, you get to search your deck or discard pile for a preparation and add it to your hand.
Oh, I love that.
So I would like use him and then get him killed by consequential damage tucked underneath there, and then I would like finish the rest of it real quick and put him back into play and get that that search all the encounter cards card back and set it up, and then use him again because he's ready again because of that, and then just kept recycling that whole trick a whole bunch, that scenario.
That's
to
wonderful.
Really control the encounter stuff. And like I said, I stayed in hero mode the entire game, did not switch to alter ego after the very first turn when you start as alter ego, and did not take a single point of damage.
That's awesome.
Because I pretty much stayed in stealth suit the entire time. I popped out one time on the last turn to do 6 damage to the enemy, and then immediately played a card to go right back into the stealth side.
Awesome. Love it. Excuse me.
Bless you. Still bless you.
So one thing we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. I am officially free of Magic the Gathering.
Oh, that's good.
Yep. All my cards, well, they're currently in Saugus, Massachusetts, awaiting processing, but Battleground Hobby, shout out to them. Set up an appointment for me, and one of their managers, has accepted my collection and is processing it for payout. He gave me a pretty good estimate. I was very happy with. And I said, "Hey, look, man, I want actual zero of this back. I never want to see it again." And he's like, "Okay, message received." And it was a rugged drive to get down there because it was the middle of a snowstorm.
Ooh.
Up here, it was just raining down there. But fortunately, my friend Tim came with me and was my co-pilot on that journey. We stopped a couple of retro game stores on the way home, which is good. I've come to this point in my collection-ness where I'm like really choosy about what I want to actually hang on to. Offloading those Magic cards felt so good.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of catalyzed like me thinking, okay, can I do the same for my comic books and my music and my like movies and board games, and just like what am I hoarding? Like what am I actually and think about what am I actually going to play here over the next however many years?
Yeah.
So like as I go to retro game stores, I'm like, okay, I can kind of treat this even more like a museum. I don't need to feel obligated to purchase something every time I walk in. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, Battleground Hobby in Massachusetts, they are tremendous down there. They've always treated me with the utmost respect. They're pleasant. And he literally gave me his cell phone number, his personal cell, to contact him through the process here, just to streamline and make it easier. I can't think of too many stores that go that far.
Too runny.
I'm fighting with some runny paint right now. So next Saturday is my brother's birthday.
Okay.
I don't have any belief that it will preclude us from streaming. I think we're.
I was about to say next week is my weekend to work.
It's your weekend to work, right? Yeah, that's right. So if I stream, it will be with either Chamali or Greg. Sometimes Greg's been wanting to get back on for a while. I told him I was going to stream with him last week, but ended up not being able to. My wife was away and. Just got wiped out from being with my daughter all day, and that's a good thing. You know, it's a good feeling. Found a copy of Metroid Prime 3 in the antique store today.
Oh,
Almost
in the antique
bought it.
store.
What?
In the antique store.
Well, okay, we call it the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, which because it's really just a junk store. They call it Tilton Village Antiques, but we just refer to it as the junk store usually. So I mean, they have Switch games there. It's not really just antiques. I almost bought it, and then I was like, I bet with Prime 4 Beyond coming, there's going to be a Switch drop with Prime 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Since I don't have Prime 1 on GameCube, at least at this moment, I'm going to stick to my guns.
I mean, Prime 3 was on the Wii, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's like 1 and 2 were GameCube, and then
Yes. And the controls were like not optimized for, or that game just should not have been on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Playing a first-person shooter with a Wii remote seems monumentally stupid to me.
I don't know. I mean, you just point and click. It's just like using the light gun. Seems like the Wii was like the ideal system to be playing first-person shooters.
Maybe. I don't know. To me, first-person shooters are meant to zoomed in. First-person shooters are meant to be played like this. Mouse and keyboard, my friend. Mouse and keyboard. That's what I'm looking for. momentarily forgotten there that there are 2 ways to paint lava. And which one I was using. You can do like the flowy lava with like actual streaks and stuff, like painted streaks, or you can do the dry brush method. Both of which are valid and look great, but if you're trying to paint a full army with coherent bases, you have to use the same one throughout. And so while 2025 Zach would prefer to do streaks, when I started painting Chaos Dwarfs, I was doing dry brushing, so I have to keep that up against my instincts. And it's purely because I want to stretch my creativeness, stretch creativity. That I would do the streaks. Someone commissioned me to do something that has lava. One more. And then we're on to the final. Please highlight and just patch them up and get them out of here. Alright. Oh, no, I take that back. There's still dry brush. There's some actual proper dry brushing to do. And my thumb is very orange.
From all your lava paint?
Yeah. You go away. Go ahead and use these to combat. Yeah, no. You. Gray, maybe. This'll do. This'll do. Beautiful. Just in case. What's nice about doing it this way is, oh shoot, that's right. The amount of paint on each layer is less and less. So now I'm on the white layer, and this is one of the times I do highlight all the way to white. because it's fire.
Yeah, like a glowing light effect. Yeah.
Basically takes like a second. Get this there. Excuse me. But yeah, it was funny when I sold off the magic cards. I got home and that was when they announced the Spider-Man set, and I was like, "Boy, am I happy I got out."
So is the Spider-Man set like a full set, or is it just one of those like?
Yeah, it's a full and, from what I understand, canon set.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh boy, that's just... That is Star Wars Legion. Evan J. 14. Or no, sorry, Shatterpoint. That's Shatterpoint.
But yeah, this is a Shatterpoint. In the heroic 40mm scale as opposed to the 28mm.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be anywhere near this game when Spider-Man becomes part of it. Oh wait, that was a noise.
Yeah, no, I dropped a paintbrush.
Oops. I was like, I was going at it with someone online about it, and how I was like, oh, I'm so happy I got out. This is not the time to be around magic. What are they doing? I was just moaning about it. Yeah, I wasn't being any kind of serious. And he's like, and I'm like, here's my bold prediction. They're going to make Venom a Phyrexian, and then Marvel's going to be like, bro, it sold a bunch of dollars. Make Venom Phyrexian in actual comics canon. And bring in Magic the Gathering. And then I would have been very upset. Cancel all Marvel subscriptions. Cancel the Cobbler.
Pretty much.
Someone was like, well, they've already teased Venom. He's not Phyrexian. I'm like, okay, for now. Like...
Just you wait.
Yeah. Like, these are two companies that are notorious for making bad ideas.
Not only just making bad ideas, but enacting bad ideas, seeing that they're bad ideas, seeing the backlash from them being bad ideas, and then doubling down on said bad ideas.
And being like, you will like this. No, we won't. Sorry. but it's making us money, and you must like it. Well,
Is
no,
it
it's
making them money?
Not you making you money. Pretty sure you just lost $1 bajillion on it, but okay. Believe what you want. I'm happy to be done with that product. Now, that's not to say, like, I didn't get rid of my silver bordered stuff, because I will still play that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to the guy I sold it to, I was like, the stuff I kept is like the true blue silver bordered stuff. The originals. Not the ones that are like, maybe actually borderline playable, or the new cards that are just they might as well be silver bordered. One duder. He's got horns on his helmet. Don't ask me why. I have no idea.
Because he's a Viking.
No, they're Chaos Dwarfs. They're not Vikings.
They can't be both?
No, these guys are just jerks. Try is yep, sure was. Watered down. Not that one, apparently. Here. It's not perfect. Oh. The method involves throwing paint at myself. Just for the record. Rather importantly.
Also, please don't forget that daylight savings.
Oh yeah. You had to remember.
I thought they weren't going to do that anymore.
They say that every year. And then they decide to focus on, quote, more important things, unquote. Add a little bit of white to the pot, actually. Yeah. Those look like bones. I'm actually really happy with that.
But do they look like horns?
They look like both. Alright, time to patch up these bases and get these guys off my workbench. Black, please. Two. Yep, fine. Black is very runny today, which is not a problem for the use of, for the thing I'm using it for.
What's up?
I don't know. I had something to say, and then I forgot it. Slippery little devils. You know what I miss?
What?
Newspaper comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my parents used to get the newspaper when I was a kid. They still do. And every time I'm there, I'm like, oh, I gotta read the comics. You know, gotta do the crossword, gotta do the word jumble. It's these silly things that I grew up with. You got people like Bill Amond, who, you know, he posts Foxtrot to Instagram and stuff every week when he does it. The guy who wrote Bloom County is similarly with that. But it's like, it's not the same as opening to the back of the sports page, where I always knew the comics would be. I'm getting my fill of, you know, Calvin and Hobbes and Zitz and Garfield.
Yeah.
And more than that, like, just, you know, getting the collected volumes of them all and sitting in the bathroom and just reading that book over and over and over again until I had every comic memorized.
Yep.
Oh, my mom used to hate me for that. It seems. All right.
I remember. I remember one time I had ordered something off the internet,
Yeah.
and the person who sent it, like, when I received it, I was like super excited because I'd been waiting for this. I think it was an action figure of some kind.
Yeah.
Like, open the box, start pulling out all of the packing stuff. He had packed it with a bunch of newspapers and stuff like that, and I pulled out, you know, one of the random newspapers he grabbed was the comic section. And it immediately stopped what I was doing, trying to unpack the action figure or whatever, and started reading the comics instead.
Yeah. Just so nostalgic, you know?
And this was while I was still in high school, so
Yeah.
less nostalgic, but more just kind of, that was a way of life.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, my hobgoblins aren't quite done. There's still a little bit of highlighting to go on them. But that should be pretty easy. And then we got the rest of these infernal war machines that I've got sitting over here, and then the Chaos Dwarfs will be back to doneness. At least for the time being. As I stare over my shoulder and notice the 40-odd Blood Bowl Chaos Dwarfs that I have to paint. But this block of 8 blunderbusses is finally done.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm very, very happy to say it. My wife's aunt always looks for my miniatures painting posts, and I haven't posted any in a while because I haven't done any single characters. The problem with batch paint, or another problem with batch painting, is it's like, what do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to post some of the pictures of the stuff that I'd done. 'Cause I finished like a Chewbacca and I finished Chopper. Then have like these that I was working on and. Probably not green.
All right. Well, I don't know about you, but it is midnight.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where we need to call it.
Especially since we're losing an hour's sleep.
Exactly. So next up for me, I gotta finish these little hobgoblins, but that won't take more than a few minutes. So I will probably do that on the next show. And then moving on to either Blade or the Joker. Probably Blade, because he's just very exciting and dynamic, and we can get a cool show out of him. I want to do something fun with these sort of zombie hands that are sticking up out of the pavement here. But I do have the Joker over here as well, just classic Joker from Gotham City Chronicles. So we'll see where that takes us. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube and keeping us going. Mike, always a pleasure hanging out, man. Mike's got to work next weekend, so we will see where painting takes us. I'll try and get Greg or Chamali or Adam or whomever. I know Adam's on a bit of a I believe Adam's on a bit of a break from D&D right now, so there's a possibility I can get him on. I know he's been itching to paint. And then Monday and presumably Friday, I will be playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Very much enjoying that game. Trying to sync up with Alex so he can do some commentary with me, but we'll see. Anyway, take care, everybody. Be safe, be well. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
See ya.